Have you ever wondered how a priceless artifact can disappear in thin air? Let's delve into a fascinating case that left even the most seasoned investigators puzzled. In the heart of San Francisco, a crime was committed that shook the city's elite. A priceless Stradivarius violin, fondly known as the Melody of the West, was stolen. But this wasn't any ordinary theft. The violin belonged to the acclaimed musician Mr. Giovanni, and it was stolen right under the noses of hundreds of witnesses during a grand concert at the San Francisco Opera House. Picture the scene. The Opera House, alive with the hum of anticipation, the audience dressed in their finest, the air heavy with the fragrance of expensive perfumes, the lights dimming as Mr. Giovanni took the stage. But amidst the applause and the grandeur, a sinister plot unfolded. Despite the tight security, the large audience, the watchful eyes of the concert staff, the thief managed to carry out the audacious act. The Melody of the West, a violin worth more than its weight in gold, was snatched away without a hint of struggle, without a whisper of a clue. Detective James, a stalwart of the San Francisco Police Department, renowned for his methodical approach and keen eye for detail, was assigned to the case. He interviewed Mr. Giovanni, the concert staff, and the attendees. He scrutinized the security footage, yet found nothing out of the ordinary. It was as if the violin had sprouted wings and flown away. Every person seemed to have an alibi. The concert staff were vigilant, and the security footage showed no signs of foul play. The case was shaping up to be a labyrinth with no discernible entrance or exit. It was as if the thief was a ghost, and the violin had simply vanished into the ether. Yet every crime leaves a trace, every thief a footprint, and Detective James was not one to be easily deterred. The mystery of the disappearing violin was just beginning to unfold. The violin seemed to have vanished, leaving no trace behind. But was it truly so? Only time would tell. Enter Detective James, a seasoned investigator known for his meticulous approach. A man whose reputation for detail-oriented investigations precedes him was now handed the case of the missing Melody of the West. The stage was set for a mystery that seemed almost ethereal. First things first, James knew he had to get a comprehensive understanding of the situation. His initial step was to interview Mr. Giovanni, the renowned musician and bereaved owner of the stolen Stradivarius. Giovanni could offer no leads, only the echo of his loss. His prized possession, a symbol of his life's work, was gone, and he had no inkling of who could have taken it. Next, James turned his attention to the concert staff. The orchestra members, the stagehands, security personnel, everyone was under the lens. Detailed interviews were conducted, timelines established, alibis cross-verified. Yet the mystery remained. No one saw anything amiss. No one heard anything unusual. The concert had proceeded as planned, the music had flowed as beautifully as ever. But somewhere in those melodious moments, the Melody of the West had vanished. The attendees were James's final stop. Hundreds of people, each with their own stories, their own experiences of the concert. But again, no one saw anything suspicious. No one noticed the moment when the Stradivarius disappeared. It was as if the violin had evaporated into the symphony itself. With every interview, every alibi, the mystery deepened. The security footage offered no assistance. It was as mundane as the testimonies. Rows of captivated audience, entranced by the music, oblivious to the unfolding drama. The footage showed no sign of the theft, no hint of the thief. The case was baffling. It was as if the violin had disappeared into thin air. The Melody of the West had become a silent symphony, leaving behind a void filled with questions. But Detective James was not one to be deterred. He knew there was more to this case than met the eye. It was as if the violin had disappeared into thin air, or had it. But as in every good mystery, something was amiss. Detective James, with his well-honed instincts, had felt a prickling sense of unease as he reviewed the security footage. Among the sea of faces in the audience, one stood out. A woman who seemed as though she'd wandered into the wrong narrative, her eyes locked onto the stage where the Stradivarius had been showcased. This woman, unlike the rest of the audience, wasn't engrossed in the symphony's performance. Her gaze was focused, unblinking, as if she was waiting for something. Her demeanor was too calm, too composed, in stark contrast to the animated responses of the surrounding crowd. She seemed out of sync with the world around her, a discordant note in an otherwise harmonious symphony. Her presence was a puzzle piece that didn't fit, a splash of colour on a monochrome canvas. She didn't belong, and that made her the perfect suspect. The detective's instincts told him that this woman was more than just an oddity. She was a clue, a breadcrumb leading him closer to the stolen violin. So who was this unusual woman, this anomaly in the crowd? The question gnawed at James, pulling him into a rabbit hole of investigation, a deep dive into the life of this enigmatic figure. It was a path that led him to old forgotten files and dusty archives. A path that led him to a name, Bella, a notorious art thief who had seemingly vanished from the criminal world. This discovery was a breakthrough. She was a thief with a penchant for the exquisite, the rare, the irreplaceable. A Stradivarius violin would certainly fit her bill. Suddenly, the impossible case seemed a little less impossible. The seasoned detective felt a surge of excitement. He was on the right track. The pursuit was on. And so our detective found his first real lead. The unusual suspect, a ghost from the past, was about to become the key to unlocking the mystery of the stolen Stradivarius. The game was afoot, and Detective James was ready to play. Our mystery woman was none other than Bella, a notorious art thief thought to have retired. Bella, a name that sent shivers down the spine of many wealthy art collectors. She was renowned for her cunning and precision, stealing priceless artifacts right from under the noses of their unsuspecting owners. Detective James, with his keen eye for detail, recognized her from an old case file. Bella was a legend in the underworld, a ghost story told to scare rookie cops. She was thought to have hung up her gloves, but it seemed she couldn't resist the siren song of the Melody of the West. As James delved deeper into Bella's past, he found a trail of thefts, each more audacious than the last. Her modus operandi was always the same. She would blend into the crowd, unnoticed, and then strike with surgical precision. It was a dance she had perfected over the years, a silent symphony of crime. But Bella was not an easy person to find. She was a master of disguise, a chameleon who could blend into any setting. Yet James and his team were relentless. They traced her steps, dug into her past, followed every lead, no matter how faint. Their hard work paid off when they found a hidden safe house, a treasure trove of stolen artifacts, and amidst them, the missing Stradivarius violin. The violin was in perfect condition, a testament to Bella's respect for the arts. Even as a thief, she treated each piece with the reverence it deserved. It was a strange dichotomy, this love for the very things she stole. But then again, Bella was not your typical thief. With the violin secured, James turned his attention to capturing Bella. He knew it wouldn't be easy. Bella was a master of evasion, always one step ahead. But James had something she didn't. A team of dedicated officers ready to bring her reign of theft to an end. As the net began to close in, Bella must have sensed it. She was a seasoned player in this game of cat and mouse. But this time she was the mouse and James was the cat. His eyes focused, his movements calculated. Once again, the meticulous Detective James was closing in. In the end, justice was served. As the final pieces of this intricate puzzle began to fall into place, Detective James, our seasoned investigator from the San Francisco Police Department, orchestrated his masterstroke. The notorious art thief Bella, who had been hiding behind the facade of retirement, was finally cornered. The authorities swooped in, catching Bella off guard, and within moments the cuffs were on. Bella's era of silent symphonies was over, but the chase was far from over. The golden prize, the Melody of the West, was yet to be found. James, with his meticulous attention to detail, led his team to Bella's hideout, a secluded mansion tucked away in the outskirts of the city. With bated breath they entered, their eyes scanning every inch of the mansion. And then, there it was, in a room filled with stolen masterpieces, the stolen Stradivarius violin, the Melody of the West. The room was a symphony of silence, interrupted only by the sighs of relief from James and his team. The violin was unharmed, its beauty untarnished, and its melody waiting to be heard once again. The violin was returned to the grateful arms of Mr. Giovanni, its rightful owner. The grandeur of the San Francisco Opera House was once again graced by the enchanting notes of the melody of the West. The audience was spellbound, the music flowed, and the silent symphony was no more. This case, like a complex symphony, had its highs and lows, its crescendos and diminuendos, but in the end, it was the meticulous investigation of Detective James that led to its resolution. It's as if he was the conductor, leading an orchestra of clues, piecing together the symphony of this crime story, measure by measure. And so the silent symphony was broken, the melody of the West was returned, and our detective had once again proven why he was the best in the business.